In this video, we're going to learn about one-point perspective. In one-point perspective, you can draw your horizontal line, and this horizontal line will have a point on it, which is called your vanishing point. Now, all of the edges of the objects you're going to draw will be connected to this vanishing point. So I draw a rectangular building over here. And what will happen is I am going to connect some lines to the edges of the building. And these are called receding lines. So these lines, as they're connected to the building, they will allow me to draw the building smaller in proportion as the parts of the building get closer to the vanishing point. So I'm trying to use the receding lines extended to the vanishing point to make sure that my building is drawn proportionately. So I'm drawing a second building here, a smaller rectangle, similar to a square or close to a square. I connect the edges of it to the vanishing point. And I am going to use these lines that I have connected to the vanishing point, these receding lines, as I draw the edges of the building or the side and the top of the building. So I am using those lines. So I draw on the side, the top, and the top right. So as you can see the blocks there, what has happened is that one side of the block is like the full size, but as it gets closer to the vanishing point, the block becomes smaller. And this allows your drawing to look more realistic. So I'm just leaving in the vanishing point lines as we go to another example. Now at the top, I'm drawing a rectangular shape up above, and we're going to do the same thing. So I can connect the edges of this rectangle to the vanishing point. And as I said, we're using those receding lines. The receding lines are the lines which are drawn from the object to the vanishing point. So we try to make sure those lines are drawn straight. And with this building, the vanishing point is closer to us. So the building is getting larger the further away it gets. So we just want to clean it up to make it look a bit clearer, because when you do your drawing of your building or your landscape, you will need to clean it up and tidy it up as well. So here are just a few examples. Moving on to some other example drawings. We have a vanishing point here and we have our horizon line. So with this drawing, I'm going to draw a road. So I'm connecting the edges of the road to the vanishing point once more. Now usually roads have a line in the center of them which extend from the top of the road to the bottom of the road. Now if our vanishing point is far away, those little lines in the middle of the road will get smaller and smaller as they go further away. So you need to represent that in your drawings as well. When an object is further away, it's going to be smaller. So you need to make sure that you show that the objects are smaller the further away they get. You can't have objects that are further away and they're getting bigger. So on the left side here, I am laying out my object. So once again, I draw my shape first. And once my shape is drawn, I connect the edges of the shape to the vanishing point. So I'm drawing in the side now. Remember, I'm using the receding lines. And I'm drawing in the shape using a pen. The reason I'm using a pen is so that it can be clearer for you as you watch it. As we said before, as the shape goes further up, as the lines go further up, the buildings will get smaller. So if these were buildings on this road, the further away the buildings are, the smaller they would be. And that's the point of this exercise. That's the point of single point or one point projection perspective. So that we can see as the buildings go further away, the smaller they'll become. Like these three buildings that I have on the left. Now on the right side, I'm going to draw a little space between the road and I guess the sidewalk. And we're going to draw a few trees over here. So I'm going to use that line for the bottom of the tree. I draw in the first tree. I connect the top of the first tree to the vanishing point. And then the other trees that I'm going to draw will be in line with that bottom and that top line. What this allows me to do is it allows my trees to be drawn in a manner where they're on the same plane, they're on the same receding line. So I can see them getting smaller the further along they go. So it makes them look in perspective. It makes them look realistic in comparison with how far away they are. So I'm just drawing in a bit of shade in here. Another example again, this time we're using a larger shape or a larger building, which is to the right of the vanishing point. So I've connected the corners of the building to the vanishing point, and I'm drawing in the size of this shape. So I'm going to use these rectangles as buildings for this exercise, so they should allow you to understand the topic a bit easier. So that's the first one, which as you can see is quite large. So I'm drawing in the side of the second one here first, and now I'm drawing in the face side. So we have two buildings there. Here's the third one that I'm doing, and I drew this third one a little shorter to show how small it is in comparison to the others. So here I am drawing in the road. So with the road, remember, you can draw a middle line or a center line on the road. But remember, the point of 1 point perspective is that we're showing the proportions of the figures. So if there are 10 people standing in front of us, and the first person in front of us is going to be much larger than the person who's at the back or the rear. And the vanishing point is what we use to show the differences in the height or the differences in the size comparison. So that vanishing point is very important because it guides the lines in the drawing. What are very important as well are these receding lines that we use for each drawing. So make sure that when you're practicing, you're using the lines, the horizon line, the vanishing point, and the receding lines. Make sure you're using those lines to draw your figures, and you're not drawing figures which are outside of those lines. So I'm drawing a tree here, and the line that I have used for the top of the tree, remember I'm using that for the others. So the same thing goes all along or right through. Next to the trees, we're going to draw in a building. So I draw my rectangle, and then I connect the edges of that rectangle to the vanishing point. So you always make sure that those edges are connected to the vanishing point.